Yeah, brilliant. We did
Does
it.
that work?
Yeah, that was good.
I'm not a little box. I'm like half of the screen.
Yes, dear. That's just the way I want you. At least half the screen.
Okay.
The better half. Yes. Good to have you.
Hiya.
Hi, hi, hi. So I'll just give a brief introduction here. So welcome everyone. This is Lou and Martin, and I'm on my little Facebook page here, obviously, and I'm with my dear friend and co-conspirator in fun and mischief, and having a laugh at everyone's expense, including our own, the amazing, the talented, the lovely Sian Brown. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
That's a
welcome.
nice intro.
Yes, well, I've been practicing. Yes, laying awake at night practicing introductions. So, how are you? How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, good.
Good.
Um, just got in. I was working this morning, but I am free now for a few hours, so it's
Groovy.
good.
Groovy. Why don't you pick up where you were chatting with me a minute ago about your music therapy? We'll just chat about that for a moment.
Oh yeah, well, I just finished. I was telling you, Lou. I was a bit sad. We finished a block of 6 weeks music therapy with in a daycare center with the elderly. So it was a bit sad to leave, but it was really good. The whole thing. It was just you really fall in love with them. So
Yes, yes.
yeah.
And tell us more about your music therapy and how you got into that, and then we can talk about the world and see if we can take the piss at the world here.
Um, I love music. Music's always been how I coped with anything up and down in my life, and I just made it happen. I just made music therapy happen. It took me 2 turns to get into the course, but I got in without a degree, and then I got a first. And
Yay!
now I'm a practicing music therapist, and I love it. It's the best job
Brilliant, brilliant,
ever.
brilliant. And this
Yeah.
is
Well,
this
it's the perfect job for me.
yes, because this is supplementing your ever rising career as a rock goddess, rock and roll star.
Ever rising. I don't know. It's definitely supplementing my yeah, my need to never give up on that dream.
Yes, well,
So
I'm all for
I'll
that.
be 60, I'll be 70 odd on stage, kind of going, this is gonna be my year. But yeah, that's
No,
that's it.
I think we can move that up a few decades. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Hopefully.
Yeah, 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 no doubt about it. So, Sean and I just love having a good laugh, and we tend to see the world through a similar lens. So we've promised each other a couple times now that we would uh, get on and try to make fools of ourselves uh, uh,
Yeah.
while having a laugh. What I was going to say is I was chatting with my dear friend Joanne last night, and she's into I've gotten her into fire sign theater. Did you ever hear fire sign theater? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, I'll have to send you some links. They were like the American version of Monty Python before Monty Python came along. There were four guys, and they did all these brilliant skits about radio and television, and they had a laugh at everyone's expense. So yeah, that's definitely one.
Sounds
But
fun.
you said you had some topics that you were thinking of, or some things you were going to chat about.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been busy, so I haven't had too much time to think about it, but
Okay, well, the pressure's on.
anything. Well, we're into the same stuff. Anything like,
Yes.
the nature of consciousness,
Yeah.
the nature of reality, how I was interested in hearing about how you started kind of going, what's going on
Sure.
in life?
Sure. All
Because
right.
you worked in a bookshop or something, didn't you?
Yeah. When I graduated high school, I went in 3 years. I went through four different schools. That was, I think, the new world's record at the time, and including theater school and reading philosophy at Cal State Long Beach and things like this. Like you said, what is this terrible mystery called life, and
Wow.
how do I make sense of it?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I actually, so throughout my 20s, I worked in bookstores, and that was my bachelor, master's, and PhD program in reading whatever I wanted to read, and I read a lot of books. I've been a lifelong reader, so you know, all of that piqued my interest. I mean, for me, honestly, I've told this story a couple times, but the three things that really set me off was meeting Krishnamurti when I was 16, who was this world-class spiritual teacher that I hadn't known anything about when I met him. Got to sit with about 20 or 30 students and hear him talk. That's how I encountered him in Ojai, California. And then when my dad died when I was 17, that was my existential Hamlet period. You know, what is the meaning of life? And then when I had this Kundalini awakening experience when I turned 30, after reading books and smoking a lot of weed for a decade, both of which were very helpful at the time, which both, you know, I've given up the weed about 30 years now. But yeah, that lit me up, the spiritual awakening. So that was like the before and after moment of my life. And so the last 30 years has been, as you know, me on my little Grail quest, you know, learning about God. Yeah.
Yeah, and a fab job you're doing as well. I love listening to all your talks and your channeling and everything.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Well,
And
I have a lot of support now, the likes of which I've never had. Joanne Makepeace, Willow Clover, Soma Liange, and others are really helping me enormously right now. So I'm so grateful for that. Ingrid Turner.
yeah, you deserve the help, because I mean, for as long as I've known you, you've been needlessly, you know, helping other people and trying to uplift other people. So you give a lot. So I think that you deserve all that help back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
And it's funny because we were saying that we have a few strange similarities, because
Yes.
we both had strange kind of upbringings, and
Mine has nothing on yours, my friend. You are textbook.
well, I mean, you traveled a lot. You did a lot of moved about, but both our dads died when we were 17.
Right.
And both in kind of strange circumstances.
Right.
And also we both did a bit of drama. And you had your Kundalini awakening in 30. I was kind of more 23, I think.
Right.
I wouldn't call it a Kundalini awakening, but I would call it a spiritual awakening.
Well, yeah, say more about that, what that was like for you.
Oh, I was raised atheist.
Right, but I mean the awakening itself, tears.
What did it mean? It was a complete breakdown.
Yes.
Or breakthrough,
yes.
as they like
well,
to say.
that's my motto, my friend. See, now we're getting somewhere, Sean. Breakdown, breakthrough.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game here.
That's it. And I just thought, because I was coming from a place of, there is nothing, don't be ridiculous. You may as well believe in Santa if you believe in it. You know, I was coming from that, that's where I was coming from.
Yes.
So it was, I was really looking for a reason to stick around, I guess, a meaning.
Sure.
And I just thought, you know, life was so up and down and very difficult for me at times that I kind of thought, well, if there's nothing there, then I'm out of here. There's no point.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but yeah, then this huge mad, I don't know, my mind, my spirit, my heart just opened when I was rock bottom, obviously.
That's the one. And there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. When there was nowhere else when there was no other else, you know, that's when it happened.
Yes.
Well said. And life has just gotten better and better ever since.
Yes. Yes.
You know, of course, there's something bigger than me, and of course, you know, there's more to life than this, and yeah.
I certainly hope
but
so.
It's it's a journey, you know. It's a cliche, but it's a journey, you know, that kind of.
Yeah. But this is you know, this is great to hear you talk about this today. So yes, I mean, it was the same for me. I was absolutely up against the wall, desperate, and despairing, and hopeless, and feeling like, oh my God, what is the point of this? And but so the quote that came through me around that was, I did not have to believe, but I had to be willing to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
Do you relate to that?
Yeah, definitely, because I wasn't sure what the hell, because that was up until my early 20s. I hadn't believed in anything. There's nothing out there, blah, blah. I mean, I suppose when I was very young, I did. That's a whole different story because I went, yeah, that's a whole different
Well, I
story.
don't mind.
But
There's no rush. Come back. You want to tell that
well,
story? I don't mind.
I'm going to try and keep it brief, but I was sent to a Catholic school in the 80s in Ireland. So I
So you were
wasn't,
abused by your
we,
family. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
we, we weren't, out,
They'll
my
love that.
family.
They'll love that in Ireland. Absolutely. Yeah.
My family weren't religious in any way
Right.
and didn't believe in anything. So I went to Catholic school though, and I learnt about Jesus and about all this kind of stuff. So there was a real in my head and my heart as a young girl, because I must have always been a deep thinker, a philosopher.
Sure.
You know, I
Sure.
must have always had that kind of a mind like, what, why, what's going on?
Sure.
So I used to go home after learning these prayers and these parables and everything, kind of praying, kind of going, okay, I'm gonna have to pray for my whole family because
Right.
I don't know what's going on. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want my family to go to hell.
Right.
Please, we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
And that was when I was very young.
Sure.
But then became a teenager, and it's no secret. I went off the rails. I was drinking a lot. I
Sure.
was, and so belief just kind of went out the window for all of those years.
Sure.
And because life was pretty crap with my dad being an alcoholic, so I was like, oh, there's nothing there. There's nothing there because I didn't ask for this life, and look what I've got, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So then the early
Kicking and
20s,
screaming, we call it, Sean.
yeah,
Yes. Going
yeah.
kicking and screaming.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, but then when I had to actually kind of go, okay, I had to give up drinking and everything. I had to give up everything in my early 20s because I'd really come to a bad place where I was just constantly drinking and
Sure. Sure.
yeah, losing job.
You'd used up all your moderation, and now you're an
Yeah,
extremist.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, moderation is
Right.
hard for me.
Hi. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
Join the club. Yeah. What's that?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's when it happened when I gave up drinking and I thought, oh, this is fine, I can do this. And literally a month or so later, after giving up alcohol, I had a complete breakdown. I was a nervous wreck,
Sure.
anxiety, and but that is when I kind of said, look, I don't know what's going on, but I am opening my, and I remember uh, lying there thinking to myself, I am opening my heart and mind to the possibility
Yeah.
that there is a bigger force in the universe governing, and that's when it all,
Yes,
and
darling.
that's when it was,
Click.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it was the hardest part of my life, but I'm looking back, it was the pinnacle of becoming who I am now, which is
Yeah.
somebody who I enjoy. I have fun being
Yes.
me now.
Yes.
So that's
Brilliant. Well
yeah.
said. Well said. Yeah, that's gorgeous, honey. I totally relate to that. And I'm sure, a lot of people that might be listening in can really relate to this as well. We've got a good little group here for a Thursday afternoon. Lorraine is here, Amy, Dennis, my buddy, Nuala, Raylin, Paul, yes, Sean's waving, sending her love, Kimberly, Pamela, Patricia, Chris Gillum is here. Hi, buddy. My Denmark brother, yeah, is out in Kentucky. Michelle is coming and going. Martin is here. So, my friends, if you have any questions or comments that you want to perfectly insane spiritual junkies to
That's right.
thank you. I had to take a moment to answer or speak to. Be my guest. That's why we're here today. Um, yeah, but again, you and I love to, as you said, we both grown up in theater, and we love great stories and great films, and so
Music.
here's what. Say again.
Music.
Music, of course, yes.
Yeah.
I had a synchronicity today. I've been listening to Jim Carrey, and some of his
Yeah.
videos, because he's quite enlightened. He's like
Yeah.
nearly him and Shirley MacLaine seem to be the only ones in Hollywood who know what's going on or willing to talk about it. But
And everybody treats him like he's crazy.
of course, of
But
course.
he's saying beautiful things.
He is absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was at the Gorta shop, the secondhand shop, and found Majestic. I don't know if you remember this film that he was in about an old theater in on the coast in California during World War II. It's quite a good film if you haven't seen it. Maybe
Okay.
I'll bring it over sometime.
Yeah.
You, Jimmy, and I can get some popcorn and have a party. But so I found that film, and then today, one of my friends from Agape is getting a picture taken with, yes, that's right, boys and girls, Jim Carrey. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So those, those three, once is interesting, twice is significant, the third time is like, pay attention. So
Yeah. What's that about?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I definitely, for me personally, I love and admire him and respect him enormously. I think he's got incredible integrity to share his spiritual journey with people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His energy is off the chart, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, go on. Do you want to say something else?
No, just his physical, the way he uses his body um as a comedian. Like he's not just funny with his words, but his whole body. It's just the whole thing. He embodies
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing, and it's just
Yes.
it's amazing. And that energy that he has, yeah, I can identify with wanting to get that out in the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, so Martin is jumping in, my brother from Agape there. Thanks, Martin. He says, money, speaking of Jim, you remind me, he put $1 million check in his wallet. Um, the money thing weighs on my mind and heart. Any insights? Yeah, well, you're halfway to the solution there, brother, and that's one we're all working on. You know, I put and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this as well, Sean. I put a post this week about manifestation, and about 100 people liked it, which is, that's very good numbers for a post, and it means
Yeah.
that it's really resonating with people, it's connecting with people. But so Jim Carrey, yeah, he wrote a check for $10 million for acting services, and he put that in his wallet, and he would visualize it every day that he was going to get this. And I think when yeah, sure enough, it happened. I don't remember what the film was, but so in the post that I was mentioning, it's like we have to know what we want. We have to believe we can have it. We have to believe the universe knows how to bring it to us. And we have to feel what it's like to have it. And then what's the big last step? Let it go.
Yeah.
Right? Do you
Yeah.
do you relate to any of that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it with money. I know that Jimmy does money manifestations and it really works for him. What I do, and it's not as if I don't want money, money would be great, but what I
Glad to hear it.
usually do is I kind of visualize being on stage and being on tour,
Right.
because it's my dream to kind of be off and touring the world
Sure.
and be on stage and be that big Moonbird character that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually what I kind of trying to manifest or focusing
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying. Do you know what's hard is, and I'm sure everybody finds this hard,
Yes. I'm
is
sure you're not the only one.
is believing it, because they say that, oh, you have to match the vibration and then it can come to you. But when you, like, say if you want to be a millionaire but you don't have a million euro, it's hard to act or feel as if you're a millionaire. It's just hard. So
Well,
that's what I
yes,
struggle
darling.
with, but I'm
Yes.
trying.
Yes. Well, okay. Let's first of all, spiritual success coach. Let's stop affirming how hard it is, boys and girls, shall we?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. You're fine. You're
I'm just
fine.
keeping it real here, Lou.
Yeah,
I'm just
babe.
keeping it
Yeah,
real.
babe. You, me, and Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Bringing it down to earth. Yes, but see, this is it's great that you're saying that, honey, honestly, because of course every one of us relates to it. We're all in the same boat. Um, like I said earlier, there has to be, and in quotes, in order for things to change, there needs to be this suspension of disbelief, like you're just saying about your faith, and me too. How honestly, that's why it's great to talk about spiritual awakening with you, because everyone's is different, and all of them are
Yeah.
exactly the same, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you make that surrender process to I have to figure this out to I can't figure this out,
Yeah.
and I still need love and money and opportunity and meaning in my life, most importantly. So the paradox
Yeah.
is like when I listen to Abraham, which I think you're an Abraham person, are you? Sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very uplifting.
right?
I like listening to Abraham. Yeah.
Right. So Abraham says, what would you like? And the person says, I'd like a lot of money. And they say, well, what would that feel like? And the person says, well, it wouldn't feel as crappy as it does right now, and I don't have enough money. And they say, well, could you imagine what it would feel like to have enough money? They say, yeah, if I had enough money, then I could imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah.
it's that dance of letting go of our attachment to what is in order to be open to what wants to be. And I mean, I loved your example about, doing your music and achieving success with all of that. Absolutely. I know I see you in that light, easily, and it's no problem at all. It's a joy. But the other thing I want to say is there's the yearning for things. I mean, of course, I deal with all this myself. I just had a beautiful gift of support yesterday, financially for what I do, and I'm still in positive shock about it, frankly. Because it's like, whoa, okay, that can happen. Great, thank you. So I just want to say, it never comes the way I think it's going to come. This is probably the truth of it.
That's what I was going to say to you. Like, it never ever happens the way you
Right,
imagine it's going to
right.
happen.
Not one time.
Ever.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, just
And I suppose
forget it.
it's just there's an infinite possibilities of how things could happen, and you're only picking one in your head.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, it never happens the way you think it's going to happen. So you've got to kind of try and let go of, you can hang on really tightly to these, well, it's going to happen this way and that's it. But it's letting go of that kind of thing as well, and
Yes.
just being open to, okay, you know it could happen any way. I mean, you never know who's going to come into your life, or why, or who you're going to bump into,
Yes.
or
Yes.
and we're all kind of like planets, aren't we? There's some kind of
Yeah.
energy that goes around and attracts people to different
Sure.
planetary systems, I guess. It's like the solar system all revolving around the sun. There's some kind of, you don't know why, but some days you're just drawn to being in a particular place for some reason, and it's probably to do with, like, a few different people's energies. It's, yeah, who knows?
Sure. Sure.
But you've just got, I suppose you got to trust your intuition.
Well, that's the magic word
Yeah,
is trust, of course. And yes, your intuition is like when my channeling, they say, your heart knows what your mind struggles to believe. And like we're
yeah,
saying about spiritual awakening, and as creative people, writers and musicians and all that, singers, we know how to get out of the way and how to get into that shamanic trance state, and let spirit come through us, which is so ecstatic, and so uplifting. But if we try to control it, it
yeah,
completely shuts down.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's like having a foot in each world, you know,
yeah,
right? Yeah. And yeah, you're saying it very, very beautifully. It's vibration. And this is the message from all my teachers over the last 30 years. If we take responsibility for our vibration, as we're all learning right now, then like Jedediah is talking about nature to people everywhere with photography, bringing hope and to nature, beautiful. So whatever tools we use, it's whatever we're passionate about. This is what I want to say. That's, to me, that's our heart, soul, and spirit guiding us in a particular direction, and that's where everything we want is. But if we're in lack or struggle or fear or judgment or doubt, I'll stop. nothing happens,
Yeah.
or yearning for something that we feel, is never going to happen. That's not on the right side of the fence of manifesting it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love Abraham, the way she puts so much importance onto the emotions.
Yes,
So
yes.
like emotions are, I was thinking and thinking one night about life, and about God, really, if I could just master my emotions and my relationships,
Yeah.
then I'd be doing like for me, that's a huge thing. So as a human, having this weird kind of 3D life going on and being, not just being a human, but being a female woman with a certain type of background and parents and everything. Really, at the end of the day, if I can get a handle on my emotions and be good in my relationships,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm not doing half bad. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the emotions is a huge thing, isn't it?
It is. That's gorgeous. That's absolutely true. I'm just seeing the comments here, Sean. Chris, who I met up with in Denmark, who's from the States, he says, my trip to Denmark was paid for because somebody ran into the back of my vehicle. Things can come to you in unexpected ways. Yes, and he got that news when we were still in Denmark together with the rest of our friends there, Joanne and Inga and Brenda and Pauline and Caroline and Bettina. And I just want to share with you, because this definitely relates. I was just there for a couple days, and the rest of the group had been there for the better part of a week or so. And I said, let's try to find some way. This was inspiration, really, wasn't me. Let's find some way to keep this energy going of this wonderful connection, because really everyone connected very deeply. And it was also people who had finished a class together. Our friend Poppy Sprague's class, they'd done it for a year, so they'd done a lot of inner work together. So anyway, long story short, we came up with this idea, which relates to manifestation, which is at 8:08 in the morning. Anyone can do this if they want. At 8:08 in the morning and 8:08 in the evening, we stop whatever we're doing and we meditate for 8 minutes. And we send love and light to everyone that we want to send love and light to. And it's like, we're saying, just getting out of our own way, singing, channeling, acting, any of those things, writing, any of those things, sending love to others, wishing others well, blessing others, all of that. For me, that just dovetailed to what you're saying about learning to take control of our emotions.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Why did you choose 8? Is there like some numerology thing?
Yes, I can't get anything past you, my friend. Yeah.
I
Sure.
don't know much about numerology, but
I don't.
yeah.
That makes two of us, honestly. But the little I do know is that it's like astrology and other systems. There are sacred symbols and energies behind the numbers in particular configurations. 8 is the above and below together. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's a great manifestation symbol by itself. And then and it also, of course, is similar to the infinity symbol. you know
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a very powerful energy in both of those ways, but then to do it for the 8 minutes also, just seems very organic, my favorite word, natural, easy. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not complicated, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And so, so of course sometimes I forget, but usually in the mornings I'm pretty good about remembering it, and we've been doing this for about a month now, since we've all been back, and it's people have seen the benefit, myself included.
Oh, I bet.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, definitely.
mm-hmm,
Sending out any kind of
mm-hmm.
love. Or I like to practice gratitude at the end of the day, just go
Yes,
on, think about all the things that I'm grateful for, and especially after a hard day when you just feel like, ah, what's the point?
yes, dear.
Like, well, actually, I'm really lucky, and I have a house, and I have clothes, and I have a great job, and I'm doing what I love,
Right,
and
right,
come on, Sean.
right.
but yeah, gratitude is definitely, but and sending love to people, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's gorgeous. Love, joy, appreciation, gratitude. Those
yeah,
are, and they're all synonymous. They're all, you know, like a Rubik's cube. They're all four aspects of kind of the same vibration, you know.
yeah,
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 and when we do that, we feel better. As Abraham says, the only reason you want anything is because you think in having it, you're going to feel better. So,
yeah.
so the secret is feel better on the way to having what you want.
Yeah, enjoy what you've got now, and that can be really, really hard. I can find it hard as well
Sure.
because you're missing out the journey. If you, I mean, you're here now, you're here now.
Yes.
So this whole, oh, when I lose a bit more weight, I'll be happy. When I get to this, I'll be happy. When I get out of this town, I'll be happy. But really, I've just got to mindfulness. I've just got to slow right down and just be grateful for where I am because I'm alive and I'm here
Yeah.
and life is up and down, but it's here and it's
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
And I believe in infinite possibility.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
It's gorgeous. That's so well said, my friend. Abraham, in one of their talks, they said literally, this blew my mind. They said there's like 30 different solutions to any problem you could face in life. And
Yeah.
like we're saying, we get so, me as much as anyone, I get so riveted on thinking it has to happen this way. And,
Yeah.
Jedediah was making a nice point that anything he masters, if he tries to manipulate it, it falls apart. That's right. That's absolutely right, boys and girls. We're
Yeah.
we're in service. We're not in control. That's all I know.
That's it. The whole service to others thing.
Hmm.
Tony Robbins, I listened to a few of his stuff.
Hmm.
He is really motivated, but he has a thing that I really liked. He said, "If you're not giving, you're not living."
Yeah,
And I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but
there's truth
no,
in
I
that.
like that.
Yeah,
I
no,
like that.
yeah, that's
And
right.
yeah,
Sorry.
and I mean, I'm great. I'm really grateful to be able to do service to others through music with music therapy. That's like a win-win situation for me.
Yes, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, when I get to channel for people and do groups and
Yeah,
all that, I'm just completely out of the way, which
yeah,
is a huge relief. It's like,
yeah.
okay, Lou Martin, you're over here now. Just relax, take a deep breath. Yeah, because
When did you start channeling, Lou?
so after that awakening, and when I turned 30, for 5 years, I hung out with this wonderful teacher, Lazarus, this channel. Jack Purcell is the channel. Lazarus is the spirit guide, and I also studied with Reverend Michael Beckwith at Agape, who is not a channel but is everything, but a channel in name. He's a full-blown mystic, and he knows how reality works, and he's so inspiring. So between the two of these, the spirit guide, who's not physical, doesn't have a body, and Michael Beckwith, who's a lovely, enlightened little black man with long dreadlocks and a great taste in clothes. Yeah, between the two of them, that was kind of my training for 5 years. And then, Sean, I went to a class about learning to channel and finished that. And the first day I was done, I started being able to channel for my girlfriend and get answers for her. And I never looked back.
Yeah, it was meant for you.
Nobody could stop me, including me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, another spirit guide who's been a huge inspiration to me, including that period. So, after that 5 years, from 1992 onwards, I've been channeling. But another wonderful guide is named Dr. Peebles, who was a physical human who lived in America and was a physician and a naturopath and one of the founders of the whole spiritualism movement, where they would do mediumship readings in services for people. They'd say, I'd see, you have a spirit over you, or I'm getting a message for you. Can I give you a message? This kind of thing. The kind of
Yeah, I've
thing,
done.
have you done that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Christine Mulvihill does that here in Cork at the Vienna Woods Hotel once a month. She's amazing and has great students that she's been training as well. But anyway,
Yeah, Chris is amazing.
right. But I just Dr. Peebles, who everyone should know about. You know, he became enlightened when he passed over into spirit a few weeks before he would have turned 100 years old, and he was a vegetarian. You'll appreciate that. Yeah, and just again, such a giver, such a lover of life, so much in service. And he asked God, the universe, you know, if he could be allowed to help humanity awaken to its spiritual nature. And of course, God said yes, because that's all God ever says to any question. Yeah, at the end of the day, as we say here. So I've worked with the same being through 5 different channels, and it's always been completely, absolutely the same consciousness. Great sense of humor, great wisdom, great love, all of that. So all of that was an enormous help to open to channeling.
Yeah, amazing. And you've been doing it for a long time now.
27 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
a
really,
dedicated life.
well, thank you. Thank you. As I've said many times, I've tried everything else. So this is the one thing I really love doing. Of course, I love playing music and singing, and I'm looking forward to you and I and Jimmy doing more of that at some point as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Gloria is here, one of my favorites. Hello, Gloria. Breed is here. May, yeah. Martin. So Martin, nice to meet you, Moonbow. Off to early LA life. Thanks to the both of
Like
you.
that.
Yes, thanks to the both of you for reminding me come join us for World Laughter Day this Sunday. Yeah. Top of every hour for 10 minutes. I love the 808. Great, count me in. My hubby and I also do 11:11. You remind me of a joke. What did 0 say to 8? Great belt.
I like that.
That's good. Martin, you haven't lost
A
your
nice
touch.
clean one.
That's right. You haven't lost your touch, my friend. You've still got it. It's a great, grand, glorious gratitude, he says to both of us. Thank you, Martin. Bless your heart.
Oh, thank
Yeah. Hi, Gloria. Camilla is here. I'm here with my fellow mystic, artist, and troublemaker, Sian Brown. Yes. And we just thought we'd come on and talk about whatever and have some laughs and invite anyone if anyone has any questions or comments about any of the stuff that we're mad about. Is there anything else you want to chat about today, my dear?
Oh, when you said that you said you've been channeling for over 20 years and that's all really that you know how to do. You said, "Oh, I can't really do anything else." But you touched on music. But I
No,
feel
I said I tried everything else. I didn't say I can't do
yeah.
anything else. All right.
Yeah,
But there's
sorry,
a difference.
sorry.
See?
There is
Got
a
you. I
difference.
caught you
Sorry.
on one. Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm having a laugh.
No, I just gonna identify with that
Mm,
because yeah, I've tried loads of different things over the years, especially early on where people are just like just get a proper job. Like,
right.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
just give up the music and get a proper job.
Right. Right.
And I've done loads of things. I've done a million jobs.
Right.
I've a lot of different skills built up because of that. But
Yeah.
I was just miserable, like returning to music was always okay. Maybe it's not going to make me money, but at least I'm happy, you know. But I mean, I stuck with my heart's desire so much that I am making money out of it now, which is amazing.
Well, hello.
Um,
Maybe it is going to
yeah,
make you money.
eventually. It only took 30 years, but I do remember that. I remember thinking, so many times, okay, I've got to go and try and be normal and do something normal, and it just never. I was just always miserable.
Sure. Sure.
So I think you just got to do what you love.
That's right. Chris is a drummer. He says playing music makes me happiest too. Chris, I have to hear you rock out at some point, my friend. We'll have to get that happening. So glad you showed up here. Fanula is here. Fantastic. Yeah. Abraham says the basis of life is freedom, and the purpose of life is joy. And if you do
Yeah.
not have joy to offer the world, you really don't have much to offer. And it's a really high bar because, as we all know, there are many days when joy seems put away in a box under the sofa
Yeah.
somewhere. Where did I put my joy? Where did I leave my joy? I think I forgot it somewhere. But yeah, I mean, this to me, honestly, hon, this is why I love you. I love hanging out with you. I love your music. I love what you're about. We are on this.
Likewise.
Thank you, sweetheart. We are definitely driven. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
Mm,
called driven
mm.
many times.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's true.
Where do you think that comes from, Lou? Where do you think, do you think where does that come from? Because a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people are just happy to, go along with things. And I often think about that, about myself and you as well. Where does that come from? Like, that just came in with me.
Yes,
That's come, yeah,
that's
I
right.
don't know.
That's right.
That whole, I will do this and then I'll finish that and I'll go and do another thing and I'll finish that and I'll go and do another thing.
Right.
I don't know where that comes from with me, but I know my dad was like that a lot.
Right.
Um,
Will of Iron.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that for yourself as well?
Are you kidding? Only every day of my life. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. It's great. I mean, I say, and I've asked this probably of everyone I've done sessions with, or listen for this in those sessions as well. I mean, yeah, I relate to feeling like I have a mission, a purpose.
Yeah.
Um, Again, Lazarus calls us the light workers, or the map makers rather. We call ourselves the light workers at this point in general, but map makers, and they say it's not like you just picked this before you became physical. You've done this in many lifetimes in order to be in the proper place and the proper, mindset while this unprecedented level of change is happening and preparing to happen in the world. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's not like we're being asked to do some terrible thing, you know. We're being asked to wake up and stay awake, aren't we? And learn how to have more fun and how to love more and how to be of greater service to people and inspire others and appreciate our gifts, etc. All of that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long answer to a short question. Um, I think I told you the story that I got left back in the third grade because I wouldn't stop humming Beatles songs. You know, is someone singing? My teacher would ask, la na 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 na. Last, I'd be, she loves you, yeah, 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 in my little seat there, and they just thought I was around the bend, so they said, well, we'll just, get his attention here, and it did the job for a while, but yeah, I think you hear this story honestly in everyone who really, strives to make a difference in the world, I guess is the simple way to say it, that you have a purpose in your soul that if you don't fulfill it, you're in despair, basically. I mean, I relate to what you were saying about regular jobs. I remember sitting in libraries looking at want ads day after day after day, just being unable to motivate myself to care about anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And it's been sometimes I felt like it was a hindrance, because I was like, oh, why can't I just be happy with the normal life and
Right.
normal job and what's wrong with me?
Right.
You
Right.
know what? Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, I'll
Nothing.
just keep going.
Nothing, thankfully. Nothing's wrong with you. You're lovely. Yeah, me too. But, bless you. It's as my guides say, we all need to learn to build a bridge and get over ourselves.
Yeah,
And and
yeah,
and that is to come back to what we're saying here about spiritual awakening and manifesting our dreams. That I guess that really requires knowing, not just believing, but from time to time giving ourselves permission to truly know I'm not alone. There is help. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. There is a purpose to all of this.
yeah,
Mm. Then
yeah,
things get
definitely.
better, right?
Yeah, every day.
Hmm. Hmm.
Every day better
Hmm.
and better and better. It's only ever gotten better.
It's getting
Yeah, since
better
that.
all the time. Yeah. More
Yeah.
Beatles. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
That's not to say that I don't have really down days. I'm sure you have days where, I mean, you can't be 100% positive all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course I have
exactly.
down
Yeah.
days. Sure. Absolutely. We
Yeah.
all put our pants on two legs at a time like everyone else.
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, I think it's silly to, pretend that, oh, I just walk on clouds every day and
Sure.
everything's great. I
Sure.
mean, we're having a human experience,
Right.
and the whole point of having a fully rounded a human experience is to experience the lows
Yeah.
so that you can appreciate the highs and on all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
I did I'm a music therapist mostly at the moment, but I did
Right.
a performance at VegFest where I was just emceeing, but I got really, really glammed up. I look kind of like a cartoon version of myself.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved it. I loved it.
Right.
And I love performing. Like that is my jam. I love it.
Right.
And
Right.
then the next day when I took off all the makeup and the costume and I
Right.
was just me
Wrecked.
again, I was quite depressed all day. I was like, I just
Yeah.
got to be normal now
Yeah.
again.
Bless you.
But then I have to go back to my gratitude. I was like, what are you talking about? You're doing amazing things. You're helping people. What's wrong with you, woman? But yeah, I think there's kind of a weird duality going on there with my personality. Maybe I'm bipolar or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Probably am.
Well, you're not, we all go through this. We absolutely all go through this. I mean, I think bipolar is even more extreme than that, honestly. Bipolar, schizophrenic, and all that. But we all go through these ups and downs of highs and lows, and like you're saying, we the most wisdom I have right now about it, all of this is the new idea of seeing every challenge, as an opportunity to really heal and really grow, not retreating, not manipulating, controlling, seducing, not denying, but just going, okay, here it is, one more time. What is the message? What is this trying to teach me? How can I work with this differently? How can I do this differently? And being open to things changing for the better, being open to things healing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, great. Beautiful. And
Thank you.
do you when you're having a down day, do you kind of go, okay, I'm just going to allow myself to be down for a little bit, or do you instantly try and take yourself up higher, or how do you do it?
Well, after I have my pity party, and I've used all my old tricks and nothing has changed or gotten any better, then I actually get down to work and I go, okay, time to throw on the meditations. And so I just listen to Lazarus and Oren and Abraham, and I just try to get myself back on my bicycle, back on the right side of the fence, back into feeling this too will pass. There's a purpose for all of this. What's the opportunity to grow here? Yeah, and with my sessions and clients and whatnot, when I do work with people about these things, and try to support them about these things, that is the key. Is what is this financial crisis or healing crisis or relationship crisis? Or legal crisis trying to teach you about who you're becoming, and how can
Yeah.
you use this? Because this is the thing, is that when you start to begin to trust, which is still quite a new concept in this way that I'm talking about it here, that there is a higher purpose for everything that's happening in our lives, then the ego has to kind of step out of the way, and it's work. It's always work, because the last thing the ego wants to do is step out of the way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's Joanne, who's one of my angels, and Sabrina is here, and yeah, Kira is here, another bright light. Bless you. Um, Yeah, I mean, honestly, what's great about conversations like this, and I know we're kind of coming down to the end of it here, is that, and I thank you for jumping on and chatting with me again. You know,
Thanks for having me.
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
I love chatting to you.
Thank you, darling. Likewise, anytime. We'll do it again. But I think it's empowering for us and for other people to see that you know, we're not going through this alone, and it's not about being perfect, and nobody has all the answers
Yeah.
all the time. You
No.
know, and we want to encourage each other. We want to support each other and inspire each other.
Yeah, support each other is a big thing because we're all, if you just meet somebody where they're at, spirit to spirit, like even with the music therapy, I love the whole unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers,
Oh yeah.
un unconditional positive regard for whoever you're meeting and just meeting them where they're at and just being there and listening and being present with them. And that's how I do my music therapy. And it's just by sitting there and being there for somebody and listening to them and meeting them spirit to spirit. It's, oh my God, it's just so amazing. You can see it with people. They just, there's a kind of a, oh, she got it. She
Mm-hmm.
gets me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge, because the whole loneliness feeling, I think it can be lonely being a human being. You feel like cut off from everybody, even though we're not. We're all one and we're all connected. We feel as if we are completely like there's nobody there for us. And the whole support thing, it's huge, especially in music therapy. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I want to do that with music therapy, but I think I can do it with my performances as well in a way. Maybe,
Sure.
yeah, that's more of a being in spirit for me. I think that's where I channel. Actually, that's where
Sure.
I channel is
Sure.
where
Sure.
when I'm on stage.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when you're writing, hun, you know.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I love what you just said. That was gorgeous. Um, you know, as a counselor or a music therapist, we're holding the space, you know, of deep respect and appreciation and openness and unconditionality, non-judgment, total
Yeah.
acceptance. You know,
Yeah.
I say as soon as people are hard on themselves in a session, that's when I get to speak up and say, no, you're sorry, I'm here loving you unconditionally and nice try, but you're not allowed to be hard on yourself. That's against the
Yeah.
rules. And I know, I'm sure with the music therapy, people are really in their inner child and they're feeling seen and supported and playful and creative, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then with singing or performing or channeling, you know, it's like taking all that, you know, the first part is taking it all in, and then the second part is doing something with it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the performance side, I love that, in spirit, inspiration
Mm-hmm.
in like I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like with the performance. I'm in spirit and possibly I'm showing people that they can do the same thing, you know. If I
Sure.
can do it, anybody can do it. And that's what I really feel. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Sure, honey. Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's being very vulnerable, Sean, you know, and the whole strength and courage that it takes to be vulnerable, you know, to be naked and you know, present and creative and spontaneous and passionate and you know, that is intrinsically healing. I mean, I think this is why entertainment is so cathartic, you know, because
yeah,
we all need to see that over and over again, that it's okay to express your feelings and, you know, to let them out.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm. Groovy.
Yeah, because you need somewhere to go mad, I think. I do
Yes,
anyway.
yes, yes. No, you're quite right. And it's funny you're talking about loneliness. I actually just saw a talk, an interview with these two guys in their 30s, I'd say, talking about how loneliness is now. I mean, it's in the West, it's at a chronic levels. There are more people feel more
Yeah,
isolated and more cut off from each other in the world than ever before. And like
yeah,
the guy who's an author of a book, I can't think of it offhand, but he was saying that like 20 years ago, if you'd asked people, Do you have, you know, if you're in an emergency, do you have people you can go to for help? And generally people would have like 4 or 5 people that they could turn to. And today people have no one, was what he was
Yeah.
saying. Literally, they felt they would have no one they could turn to if they needed to ask for help. And since you and I have been, you know, falling apart, you know, and picking ourselves up for our whole lifetime, we've learned
Yeah.
to get very good at asking for help, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's essential, you know. And then you become stronger on the other side of that, of being willing and able to offer help, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The wounded healer, it's called.
Yeah.
It's a young thing, being the
Hmm.
wounded healer. So
Hmm.
you go through your own crap and you learn how to deal with it, and then
Hmm.
you are more able to recognize and help people with their crap, I
Yeah,
guess.
yes, exactly.
Very clumsy way of putting
No,
it,
no,
but
no, that was fine. That was absolutely fine. Lazarus says compassion is the care that's born out of sorrow. And
yeah,
right,
that's
isn't that good?
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's a keeper. And it's like whatever suffering, like you know, pain is a part of being physical and a part of life. And you know, sometimes you get up in the middle of the night because you have to take a pee and you fall over the furniture, you know, and that's just, you know, it's nothing personal. You just gotta pick yourself up. But suffering is, you know, oh, why did I leave that piece of furniture there? Or why did my partner leave that piece of furniture there? You know, life is
yeah,
unfair, life is unkind. That's so. Thich Nhat Hanh has this great quote. He says, suffering becomes a lot easier to bear when you learn the purpose of it." Which again, to come back to what is the gift of this crisis, that theme in my head at the moment, you know, it's like, what is this? Why am I? What am I resistant to? What am I in judgment about? What am I attached to? That is perpetuating the struggle in this situation that I could forgive myself for, or make amends for, or you know, let it go.
yeah,
I get carried away.
yeah.
Yes.
No, no, no. It's a constant. Yeah, that it's just a constant, like, when you go through things or you meet people or you have these encounters, a constant kind of questioning
Yeah.
of why did I say that? Why did I do that? Could I have done that any better?
Yeah.
How differently could I have done that? The next time I see that person, can I say that, and it's a constant just trying to be a decent person, really, at the end of the day. But um just a constant, like, trying to better myself, my relationships, my control over my emotions, um and yeah, and just be a decent person in the world that can help people, if they're in my life and they need support, that I can be that for them.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's right. If we can help each
I,
other.
I really like the law. I really like the law of one stuff. David Wilcock goes on about the law of one.
Yes, the raw material.
The raw material. I really like the 51%, 49% thing, because it
Tell,
leaves me off the hook
t
for a
t
whole
t
49%.
yes, well, tell the boys and girls at home what you're talking about.
Well, that as long as you're doing 51% service to others and 49% service to self, then you're good. You're tipping the balance in the positive direction,
Jesus, we just
and
made
then
it,
you're
Sean.
good. Yeah. But I thought, I can do that. I can definitely do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
49%, 51%. That's
right.
way better than like 99% service to others, which seems a bit unattainable
Oh my
sometimes
God.
as a,
Well, yeah, I mean, this is our buddy Jesus who's hanging on the tree at the front of the
yeah,
church,
the
you know.
buddy Jesus.
Yes, and no one will
One-
ever be so good again, and we have to feel guilty
No.
because he's died for us. And you know, get on with your life and get better and be better. And it's like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it too. I like David Wilcock and the channel. I've heard her talk about the raw material.
Yeah.
You know, it is there's a tremendous amount of wisdom. See, I mean, this is what I love about the channel material, is and being a channel. You know, like when I channel, you know, stuff comes through I have no idea about at all. You know, it wasn't a thought in my head, and it's not like a million miles from where I'm living, but it's different. You know,
Yeah.
it's deeper. And I'm always like you are when you're performing, or me too, in those rare moments. You know, it's I'm high for the rest of the day. Like you were describing about being a moonbird at the Veg Fest. You know,
Yeah.
you're in, you know, you're at peak, you're at the top of the mountain, and then you come back
Yeah.
to planet Earth, and you're like, ah, you know,
Yeah. I know.
what happened? Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so I think it's about balancing and integrating, you know, and
Balance.
giving and
Yeah.
receiving.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just about balance, isn't it? We're living in a world of opposites, and yeah, it's about balance.
Yes, someone here was saying from the States that loneliness is given as the number one cause for suicide in kids under 21 years of age. And I know, you know, you and I, of course, are here in Ireland, and they have shocking suicide rates as well. And
Young men, yeah.
is that right?
Men in particular. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Of course, that moves me very deeply. You know, I've said that in my 30 years working with and for Spirit, 90% of my clients and students have been women, of course. And, you know, because women, this is the return of the goddess, of the divine feminine. That is absolutely what's happening. We can see it more clearly every day. And you know this as a woman living in this world, how things are changing, and you're a part of that change, and you're helping that to happen. It's like you said, when you perform, you give people permission to explore the unknown in themselves and be braver and be more open and more vulnerable. And I think you know, men, especially young men, of course, need that support as well. But I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, I'll just say this, and then I want to hear you. Why I love getting to do things like this, you know, and do it with you, and the people who are listening, is people need these conversations in our lives, I think.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you. I love listening to conversations like this myself. I would love, like, Joe Rogan did a podcast with Graham Hancock recently, which
Mm.
was phenomenal,
Yes,
phenomenal.
yeah, I mean to listen
And
to it. Yeah,
oh, I love Graham Hancock.
I
I
do
love
too.
him. He's such a
Yes,
gentleman.
yeah, yeah.
And so I do, yeah, I think that conversations like this kind of get you thinking, and they're interesting. Well, I don't know if I'm very interesting,
You're
but you know what I
fine.
mean?
You're
And
fine, sweetheart.
but I wanted to touch on the thing about the fact that it's mostly male suicide that's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
I think that there's definitely a patriarchy, and women have been kept down, but women have also been allowed to be the emotional
Mm,
beings, you
mm,
know,
mm.
and you know, it could be positive or negative, seen in a positive or negative way. Oh, she's so emotional, you know, or but we have been allowed to be emotional, the emotional creatures, whereas men have been in the past, and especially in this country, you know, don't talk about your emotions. No, you're fine. No, can't talk about anything like that. You're grand. Just don't cry. Get up and get on with it. Don't be a mummy's boy or whatever.
Mm.
And I think that men haven't been allowed to be emotional. And of course, there's masculine and feminine in all of us, traits in all of us. And men have really had to squash the feminine side of things. And I think that's possibly why there is so much, you know,
Mm.
they can't talk, and the suicide level is high. Whereas if men could just know that it's okay to talk about your feelings, and you're not going to be viewed as, like, you know, anything less than a man,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's healthy
Mm-hmm.
and it's good,
Mm-hmm.
then that would be great. And I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there, but there's still, you know, the aftermath of a very closed kind of emotional way of being for men in this country, anyway, at least.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's beautifully said. I can't help but think of Donald Trump versus all the women who are coming into power now as a result of Donald Trump. You know,
That, yeah, that woman that you showed me, the president, the one that did A Course of Miracles. What's her name?
Marianne Williamson.
Oh, I love her.
She's
I love her.
incredible.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this young Latina woman who's like 29 years old, who was working behind a bar a year ago is now, telling, Bill Barr how to get off there in Congress and things like this. Yeah, there's and Nancy Pelosi and other people. Elizabeth Warren is another one to know about. She's fearsome. So there's a lot of women finding their voice, and you're absolutely, on that list as far as I'm concerned, my friend. Yeah, and speaking up and showing up and saying, whatever's in your heart to share with people and putting your energy out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because man or woman, we all go through the same feelings. We all have really crap days. We all have really great days. We're all the same underneath, you know. And I don't understand why people are afraid to. I never understood really why people are so afraid to voice their feelings. We're all feeling the same things, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
If I've felt it, then everybody's felt it.
Yes, of course. Well, and that's beautiful. And the other side of that is, if one person can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That's one that's just dropped in not too long ago. Here's
Yeah.
Maria, my friend from Canada. Perhaps we need to destigmatize loneliness and be honest when we are feeling lonely. Sure. It seems to me only when we can say we are feeling lonely and reach out to someone will we rediscover our connection. Beautiful and deep, Maria, as usual, my friend. You just nailed it. Yeah, I think that, I mean, my phrase here, Sean, is the spiritual awakening of our planet is a trickle right now, and eventually it will become a stream, and then it will turn into a raging river, and then it will be a flood. And
Come on.
yeah, baby, we came for this party, absolutely. Uh, and I think loneliness and isolation and all the things, the victim consciousness that we all have to deal with and get to deal with in life. When we can find some way to move beyond that or to help each other move beyond that, then, the new world begins in those moments, when we feel that there's hope and there's help. Excuse me. And, the other paradox is, of course, like with you and your students there, the beautiful elderly brothers and sisters at the rest home there that you're getting to shake their tambourines and play their ocarinas and all that good fun, that's just,
It's great fun.
yeah, it's just crazy good. We can't even talk about it without laughing and smiling. We're just big kids inside, that's the truth of it for all of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here,
That's it.
so, um, yeah, it's just, such a joy to have a space to share this with everyone here, Sean. Thank you so much. I, I, I could talk to you all day, as you know, we've done it many times. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. No, I love talking. I always have like the really interesting, great conversations with you, Lou. I love it.
Thank you, hon. Thank you.
Pontificating on the universe and
You pretend you
reality.
don't know something, and I'll pretend I do. How about that? Yeah, yeah.
I know, yeah, I know nothing really, but I am striving to know or to try and know myself, really.
You know quite a lot, my friend. Yeah, but there's always more to learn, and it's great when we
Exactly.
have moments to share with each other and with our friends here. So
Yeah.
if people want to support you and your great work, how do they find you? How do they connect with you?
Oh, well, I'm on. You can listen to my music on Spotify
Yes.
under Sian Brown or Lambdancer.
Okay, there you
I'm on
go.
Facebook, Instagram, all that, the usual kind of hangouts.
Okay.
Yeah, shoot me a message,
Right. Right.
or listen to my music. That's cool. I
Yes.
got some new music coming out soon, hopefully,
Yes.
and that'll all be going up and
We can't
um,
wait.
yeah.
Your legions of fans. We're ravenous for more. Absolutely. Absolutely.
5 people in a room.
No, come on. Hey, remember when we went
No,
to,
I'm only joking.
yeah,
I'm only
remember when we
joking.
went into Declan's concert and the guy at the door is like, Sian Brown, and I was like, yeah, that's right, man. Here she is in person. Woo.
Funny when that happens. It's funny.
Yeah, yeah. I had someone do that with me here in Bandon Like, I watch your morning prayers. I'm like,
Oh,
real?
cool.
Do you really? Well, that's lovely. Hi there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Preview of coming attractions. Well, all right, everyone, thanks for being here. Brilliant conversation. If you didn't hear the whole thing, of course, we'll post it here. And Shawnee, I love you, and I'll send you the link. How does that sound?
Yeah, I love you too. It's always a pleasure. I might get if we do this again, I'll get a proper list of things to chat about.
You're
But
fine.
I think I loved the conversation, and thanks for having me, and thanks to all your viewers as well.
My millions of
Big love,
listeners. Thank you, sweetheart.
big love.
Love to you, and my best to Jimmy, and I'll talk to you guys
Yeah.
soon. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well
All right.
done. Peace,
Bye.
peace out. Cheers.
Yeah.